Hi, planner friends. I'm so happy you're here with me. If you recognize those pages that we just flipped through, those are some of my pages from my old bullet journal. And I literally took them out of my old bullet journal and stuck them on there with tape. You probably noticed the glare from the tape, so I'm really hoping you're doing well, and I thought I would bring you along while I'm working on putting my May bullet journal spread together and tell you a bit about what has been happening in my world. So, um, but before I do though, I wanted to let you know, a little bit about my spread. So I chose a really nice and easy theme with flowers. Um, I kind of see them almost as being like dried flowers or something. Books and some coffee, and I don't know, that's what I felt like for May. And I tried to leave things like very soft, and I used my watercolors, and that's what I'm doing as we're talking. And I did it kind of in a messy way, and I used like really diluted colors, but I tried. The reason I'm doing it so messily is because I'm trying to not let so much water in because I didn't want the paper to absorb too much water, right? So, anywho, oh, I just realized my sound is on, so I just turned it off. Yeah. Okay, now the next part, it isn't easy for me, so I'd ask you to bear with me, okay? Especially since I am going to be leaving out some big chunks of information, okay? So, for those of you who didn't know, we're kind of going to start at way at the beginning, because that's how I roll, that's how I work, or at least that's how my brain works. Um, yeah, so if you didn't know, I got a job as an IT specialist at the end of November of 2019, and I absolutely loved the job. I was helping people, and I loved it, and I loved working at solving people's cell phone and computer issues, and I also, I was working from home. I was really, really lucky I was working from home, you know, and everything was going really, really well. So when the major C hit us in May of 2020, everybody's aware of that one. Well, my life didn't really change. I barely felt it. I was already working from home, and I was really, really grateful to have work while I heard so many stories of people that were just losing their jobs left, right, and center, right? It was sad and it was hectic and just terrible. But I felt really good knowing that I was doing something that I loved and I wouldn't have to worry about my next paycheck, you know, because my company and, well, my job was kind of essential. Um, I mean, I helped students or teachers set up their online classrooms because they'd never done that before. So I had to help them out. Helped a lot of people in the business sector, whether they were managers or, or like CEOs and stuff like that, or CEOs contacting me because they needed to set up their workers. I had that happen. I had a pretty big project with that. Or it could be, oh my gosh, I don't know what name. I'm just Everyday Joe. That sounds a little bit better. Just needing to work from home now because they can't go anywhere, right? So that's the kind of job I did. Anywho, oh, and if you're wondering, oh, well, why don't you just re-record your narration? Well, this is the sixth time I think now. Yeah, I'm not doing it again. So, um, okay, so as I think, where was I now? I kind of went off track a little bit. Um, So I was moving quickly through the ranks at my work, and I mean, of course, it did come with its own set of challenges, but I seemed to be taking them in stride, and I was still doing well. I'm not saying that because I'm trying to, show off and say, "Ooh, I was like, oh, so good," and I'm like, "That's so wonderful." No, I'm. If you know me at all, you know I'm not like that. Um, it's more like people kept telling me, so I started believing that I was good. You know. Anyway, um, yeah, but at some point, things just started going south really fast. I can't really pinpoint exactly when things started going really wrong, but one day I couldn't go into work. And then a little bit later in the month, I had to take another day off. I felt so sick that I knew I wouldn't be able to handle work. I was just, I'll explain a little bit. Um, so after I had to end up taking 3 days in a row um, off, we all know what has to happen. I needed to call my doctor and let her know what was happening, and she referred me back to my oncologist in case it had anything to do with, you know, the other big C. um, because I was still technically under his care because I was still going through a post-cancer treatment phase, and we did some tests and we talked a lot, and we decided that the best course of action was to choose at that point would be to just stop the meds that I was taking that was part of my aftercare. So I'd already been taking the meds for over 5 years, and since they seemed to be causing me issues, and they were known to give those kinds of symptoms, and yeah, I'd already been using them or taking them for little over 5 years. So I was, yeah, I was pretty much on board with, with just stopping at that point. I mean, if it meant that I was going to start feeling better, yay. I was really, really happy. So they presented, or like the symptoms, I'd get these really strange bouts of brain fog, but I mean, I could not focus on anything. I would play a video and it's weird to explain. I mean, unless you've had brain fog before, but this was really bad. And on top of that, so yeah, try to help somebody when I didn't even know where, like, I'd be sitting there for like way too many seconds trying to figure out like how do I sign into my computer again, because like just ideas could not be grasped, like it was really rough. But on top of that, now, having brain fog when you're in menopause, as I am, which I'm in early menopause, that happens, but not nearly this bad, and not with all the other symptoms. So another thing that kept happening was that I'd get really, really bad jitters, like in my chest. It was really, really bad. It was almost like making me shake, and I had the worst dizzy spells. It was terrible. Oh my gosh, like my balance would be completely off. It was, anyway, and all of this obviously kind of caused me to be very, very nauseous. So if you can imagine that, and I hate being sick. I don't know if you feel that way at all. Comment down below if you feel the same way, but I will fight tooth and nail so that I don't get sick, because I hate being sick. But then when you're really, like, your body really wants to and you're fighting it, you feel terrible. So all of this together was just not fun. Sometimes migraine would come on, and that was pretty terrible. So anyway, and the good news is that after a few days of stopping the meds, I seem to be doing better. So things went back to kind of normal, or at least my normal. It's funny though that because I wrote myself some notes, right, so that I would remember what to say. And as I was writing, and reliving that whole part of my life, and I'm thinking I'm putting myself back there, and the minute I do, I get so tired. But so very tired. It's kind of funny almost. It's like my brain is trying to minimize the hurt, I guess, or the it's like I'm trying to, it's like saying, please don't go back there because that time sucked. you know. Anyway, so I'm going to make a very long story short, a year-long story, very short, but because I took too many absences from work, I lost my job. They fired me. I was fired. That's really hard for me to say, and yeah. If you've, I mean, I'd never been fired before, and so of course there was a lot of shame. Felt in those days, and it still bothers me a bit. Not as much, but it still bothers me. You know, I think I'm just scared that people would judge me because of that. But I think that I'm in a much better place emotionally and mentally that I can handle um, telling my planner friends. You know, so. And at that point, I started working with my family doctor, and we came to the conclusion that, well, because obviously it got so bad that, oh, yes, and there's a couple of other things that I forgot, or that I didn't mention, but I was having terrible bouts of insomnia, so that didn't help. And, anyway, I worked with my doctor. We eliminated all the things that, that it wasn't. And then we took care of the things that were bothering me. And even though the symptoms were still there, that's when we came to the conclusion, or she did, and I kind of agreed, I guess, because it was nothing. There was nothing else that it could be physically. So she said that psychologically, that it started, that when I started talking about what was happening in my life, it became clear to her that I was going through a burnout. I was constantly trying to perform well at work, all this while going through some, the insomnia, some chronic pain. My oldest daughter moved 3 provinces away from home. First time she, instead of just, oh, she's going to Toronto, which is like 5 hours away from me. No, she moves 3 provinces away, where I literally, it would take me days to drive there, you know. Anyway, so there was that, and then there was some family drama that was also happening, and someone in the family kept putting me right in the middle of it and stress dumping on me, which was not was not welcome at all. But when you do things for so long that you don't really realize that that's what you're doing, and you're kind of just supporting people. And anyway, so all this, the symptoms that I was having were basically my body's way of saying that enough, like, you have to stop this, It was terrible. And during that time, I was in a very, very dark place, and that's basically why you didn't see much of me. I was really, really not good. It took me about a year to get back on my feet, because it took a long while for me to actually come to terms with a few simple truths that I wanted to share with you guys. Simple truths that I learned about myself that maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm kind of hoping that since I learned that, if even one person can, hear what I have to say and get some benefit from it, then you know what? It didn't happen to me in vain, So Well, the first thing I realized was that I can't be everyone's everything. Yeah. Um, I I don't have the energy I used to have, and even if I did, I can't be everyone's emotional crutch either. You know, I need to be my own crutch, if you will. And there's only two exceptions. I mean, well, three if you want to be technical, but the only three people, well, four people that can talk to me if they really need to talk to someone are my two daughters because I made them. I made them from scratch. They're my babies. If they need some help, I'm here to listen. I've always been there for them. And the other is my brother. My brother's younger than me, and we've always been there for each other. And if he's going through a rough patch, chances are it's related to stuff that we lived through in our childhood. So, of course, I'm going to be there to help him. And the fourth person would be his wife. If his wife was going through, and she's my sister-in-law, if she was going through something bad and she knew that he wouldn't understand because he's a guy or something or whatever, and she needed someone to talk to, then of course I'd be there for her. I mean, she's my sister. So that's those are the only people. I don't want to be anybody else's counselor anymore. But it was kind of part of my personality where I was a really great listener. And I had this quality that made people want to talk to me. Well, I can't be that person anymore because I go anywhere and that's all that people saw. And that's not me anymore. And I'm owning that. And it took a long time for me to own that because I felt it was such a part of my personality that I had to be that, because if I wasn't, then who was I? But no, I'm very much okay to not be listening to everybody whine about their problems. Do feel free to tell me how you feel down there in the comments. That's very different. It's not, it's not physical where the person is there and exchanging their energy and stuff like that. If there is something that you're going through and you really need to talk, or you just need to vent a little bit, then by all means vent in the comments. I don't mind that at all. Okay. The second truth that I learned about myself is that it's okay that I'm not Superwoman. Some people are made differently, and I happen to be neurodivergent, and I'm in full-blown menopause. So I don't always react the way people expect it, and that's okay. My body's been through quite a lot, and so has my brain. And, I will forever need to be on antidepressants because I can't handle my emotions. They're too big. There's something chemically wrong with my brain, and I need to take a high dose because it full-blown menopause did not help with that at all. Basically, I have no more progesterone or no more hormones that counteract anxiety, so I just felt everything, and I already did feel everything, so menopause just kicked me right in the teeth, man. And that's okay. And even if some people try to make me feel bad because, oh, well, you can't handle this, and oh, well, I can do that. Well, you know what? F you, dude. I can't. That's just the way I am. And it doesn't mean that it's a personal failing on me. It just means that that person has other abilities, and I have other abilities that they don't have. Right? Another truth that I found out was that I can't work in a customer service setting anymore. I can't listen to people whine about their issues, not only can I not do it on a personal level, but I've learned that I can't do it. I can't do it in a workplace anymore. It's too much. I'm not 20 anymore. I'm not 30 anymore. I'm in my advanced 40s. Gosh. Sometimes I feel really old, but and sometimes I feel young. So I guess we all have our things. But yeah, the way I'm feeling about, I don't have the same patience I used to have. I think I don't know, and I used to bury myself in other people's problems so that they wouldn't, so that I wouldn't have to talk. I wouldn't have to be the one to come out and say how I was really feeling. It was much easier to do, and now I can't do that anymore. And the final thing I'm going to share with you today is that I'm worthy of more. I'm worthy of people having more patience with me. I'm worthy of love, and I'm also worthy of a more fulfilling career path. So, with that little wink, this is where I'm going to leave you to listen to the rest of the music and to just watch me paint. And you will see some change in shirts, by the way. Just a little side note here, because, yeah, I did do this spread like over quite a few days. So, and if you notice the shirt I'm wearing in this spot right now, well, now you can't see it because I lifted my sleeve, but yes, that sweater it's over 20 years old and I love it. And yeah, um, you can judge me all you want, but it's the comfiest sweater I have in my closet, and I wear it all the time still. So, yeah, so I was thinking that in my next video, I'd like to go over maybe my new career path, or some of the new things that I've been learning in therapy, um, what I've been learning through this whole path of discovery. So, yeah, comment down below and let me know what you'd like to hear about first. Maybe it could help you. We never know. We can help each other, because when times suck, you know like that part of my life was really terrible. um like I said, I really don't want it to be in vain, and if I can help someone somehow, it would be really great. Thanks so much for watching. It really, really means a lot to me that you're here. So thank you. If you enjoy it, if you enjoy what you're watching, don't forget to give my video a thumbs up. And I'll catch you all later. Bye, friends.